Great to have your company. It's been bizarre. It has been, in fact, a bizarre and calamitous week for the Conservative Party and their former leader, Colin Craig, after he admitted inappropriate conduct with his former press secretary. Since then, there's been a mass exodus of board members, which may pave the way, ironically, for Colin Craig to take back leadership. Colin joins me now. Colin, good morning.
Morning, Paul.
This is weakest horribilis for you, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It's been a pretty tough time, but huge support from family and friends. So.
Why are you here now? Why are you litigating this in public?
Well, I don't think I am litigating it in public, although I did choose to publicly refute allegations that were becoming very widespread in the media. And those two particular allegations, which were wrong, utterly wrong and needed to be refuted, was the allegation of that I'd harassed a worker, and secondly, that I'd paid hush money. And those are actually scurrilous allegations, very serious, and I stood down from the board and I have chosen in my personal capacity to refute those allegations publicly. I think I'm entitled to do that.
Well, are you? You chose to break confidentiality to do it.
Look, we have reasons for that. We've explained that to the lawyers of the other party.
Can you tell me what those reasons are? Well,
essentially, if you look at what I said in the media statement on Monday, I said that I agreed to confidentiality under some specific understandings. Those understandings haven't been met. Therefore, I'm entitled at least to address the big allegations, the serious allegations which are out in public, and refute those, because they are very personally damaging. They're nasty allegations to have out there, and I had every right to refute those.
Okay. Both sides of this agreement want to dispatch confidentiality, and am I right?
Well, that's our understanding.
Well, if that's the understanding, why don't you just do it? I mean, surely it's not a matter for lawyers to argue this for you. Surely if you both sides agree that confidentiality is no longer what you want, what serves you best, then you should just dispatch it.
And we have requested that we get a written confirmation that that is the case from the other side. We are awaiting their response on that. And that would allow us to put everything out there, and then the whole matter gets cleared up.
Do you see that the whole matter will never actually be cleared up because your political career is in tatters, it's destroyed?
Well, look, I don't necessarily agree with that. Whether I have a future in politics is really up to my supporters or not, and I'll be going out to them and asking them what they think. I'm an ordinary person and I don't always get everything right, and I've never made the pretense that I do. The serious allegations here are false, and so for me it's about whether or not the supporters can forgive me and support me, and if not, that's fine. I accept that.
It seems to me that the concern from the board are not the allegations themselves, they're dishonesty. The board feel that you lied to them, and there are certainly things that you have said to me in this studio which were far from the truth with regard to the way the board had been dealing with you.
Well, no, I would disagree with that. I think there are some select persons who are making those claims.
Are you talking about John Stringer?
Well, obviously, he's the one who's gone public.
Does he hate you? Did he always hate you?
Well, look, you don't always agree with everyone on the board. I'm not going to talk about him or his motives necessarily.
What do you think his motives are? Let's talk about his motives.
I don't pretend to know.
He's talking about your motives. In fact, he suggested just the other day that you were going to destroy everything you had created if you can't be in charge of it.
Well, look, that's a nonsense. Think about it. I've publicly committed to ensure that there is no outstanding financial issue for the Conservative Party. I remain a member. I remain a supporter, and I've given
So he's just basically wrong.
He is. I've given my public backing and support to whoever is taking this forward.
Why is he publicly gunning for you?
Well, look, Paul, I wish I knew the full answer to that question. He has done so. I think it's very unfortunate. I'm not publicly going to criticise him other than to say it isn't the right thing for board members to go public.
No, I'm sure that's true. He effectively has said that you have not been honest with the board. That seems to be his biggest concern.
And
it seems to me that that's probably true, that you were not honest with the board. Well, I said to you, on one occasion I said to you, has the board approached you about this relationship, this alleged relationship?
Right.
You said no.
Correct. They approached me on Sunday.
But they actually refuted that. John Stringer himself on television said that is not true.
Well, let me clear that up. You asked me that, I think it was sometime last week. You might have asked me.
I think it was Friday.
Yeah, Friday. I have been approached by a delegation from the board. That was on Sunday.
All right. Well, on
So it's 2 days-
Saturday,
that's 2
on
days
Saturday,
afterwards.
which was one day after that,
Yep.
he said that they had approached you before that. He
Well-
essentially called you a liar.
Well, look, I'm sorry, he clearly isn't correct. The delegation from the board, a group of board members, came and talked to me about things they had concerns about. They did so on Sunday.
All right. So let's talk about what this involves. It involves Rachel McGregor, your former press secretary, and we have to talk about this because this is central to the board's issues with you, isn't it?
Well, some board members have an issue with us.
Well, okay. Very quickly, as a side issue, how many board members do you have left?
Well, look, I'm now a member of the Conservative Party. I'm not privy to discussions on the board. I don't actually know how many board members are left. I can give you a prediction as to where I think this might go.
Where do you think at the moment? How many official board members of the Conservative Party do you think there are at the moment?
Look, I would be very surprised if there was anyone other than John Stringer left by the end of the week. Very surprised.
So it's John Stringer's party now.
Well, no, it's the members' party, and it always has been.
Are you worried that members will flee the same way board members are fleeing?
No, not based on the overwhelming support that's come in. I don't believe that for a moment. There are already many people who have got their hands up saying, look, we're from our regional committees, regional leaders, and from people who have been candidates for the party saying, look, we're happy to form a provisional board to go forward. And I think that's what will happen here. And as a member of the party, I'm thrilled that there will be that sort of leadership, good people stepping up to take it forward.
Yeah. Is John Stringer going to be one of those people, do you think?
I think that's probably impossible.
But do you think he wants it?
He probably does. I think he said he wants to stay around, but I can't see members agreeing to that.
I mean, I can see the way you're smiling now as you say that. Is this John Stringer against Colin Craig? Is that what we're seeing?
He's tried to make it that. I'm being very clear that that is not what I think the party's about. I think the party is about putting in a new board, and then they'll make decisions from there.
I don't know John Stringer, and I don't know you that well, but I obviously know you better than John Stringer. And I would say if it is John Stringer against Colin Craig, John has won. I think you have been destroyed.
Well, look, nothing is over till it's over.
I think it's over, Colin. I think it's over.
Well, look, we will see, Paul. As I've said, for me personally, it's up to the supporters whether they continue to support me or not. But in terms of the Conservative Party, as a member of that party, I'm looking forward to having a new board who will take it forward. We've got fantastic people, and they're putting their hands up right now.
Okay, just quickly, let's get back to Rachel McGregor. Is all of this problem as a result of Colin Craig falling in love with Rachel McGregor?
Well, look, I'm not going to talk about any specifics about the relationship. You've asked me before.
No, but that's not. And I specifically don't want to talk to you about specifics of the relationship. Right. Obviously, the confidentiality agreement is still in place. I'm not talking about Rachel McGregor now. I'm talking about Colin Craig. Did you fall in love with him?
No, you are asking a question about the relationship between myself and my press secretary, and I can't answer that unless I am given the ability to talk about it from the other party.
But I'm not asking you to talk about Rachel at all.
No, I know, but you're asking.
It's about you. It's about how you felt. I mean, have you fallen from grace? Because you can't help who you fall in love with. Have you fallen from grace because this one thing happened to you?
Well, let's be clear. You are asking about the nature of the relationship, and I cannot talk to that at this time.
I'm only asking about the nature of the relationship in your mind only.
I understand that. Look, I'm faithful and always have been to my wife, totally committed
Which you
to
can
her.
be. You can't help who you fall in love with.
Well, look, I fell in love with a wonderful woman 23 years ago. She'll have my head on a plate if I get that wrong. 23 years ago, I've always been in love with my wife. She's an amazing woman. She chose to stand with me on Monday to refute the allegations that are out there, and I can't speak highly enough of her.
When you said to her, I've got to get up early this morning, darling, because I've got to go in to be on Paul Henry's show, did she say, are you mad? Are you stark raving mad,
No,
Colin?
you know what she said?
What?
She said, now which shirt would you like, love? That's what she said. She's totally behind me. We discussed it as a couple. We said, do we refute these allegations publicly? We made the decision to do that because the allegations are just so wrong.
Okay.
And they
where
needed
does it
to
go
be
from here?
addressed.
Just very quickly, where does it go from here? You have suggested you might start another party. Please, God, tell me you're not going to do that.
No, I haven't suggested that.
It's been reported that you would consider starting another party if this whole thing falls to dust.
No, let's be very clear. What I am saying at the moment is I am going to go to my supporters. I mean, there's thousands of those. I'm going to go to them and I'm going to say, hey, do you support me to have a future in some way in politics? And if they say yes, then I'll continue.
And if they say no?
And if they say no, I step down.
Okay, Colin Craig, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Coming up.